This is the Big Boss Talk radio show, where the listener is encouraged to rise up, revolt, confront the U.S. government, not allow the breakup, the takeover, the formation of the autonomous region of California, the divide placed right there at the Colorado River, up through the Great Salt Lake, along the state of Idaho with Montana. One part being termed America with a different symbol, no longer the Betsy Ross, was displayed in the Calexico conference, placed right behind President Don. Will be described in upcoming episodes during the Analyst assessment. There are 2 videos. Still working on the first. It was uploaded by CBSN. Well, let me look again. Oh, I have looked the timer too. Keep a continuing. The clip uploaded by CBSN. Date April 4th, 2019. Clip entitled, Trump threatens to put tariffs on cars coming to U.S. from Mexico. Duration of clip, 8 minutes, 2 seconds. At 2 minutes, 1 second, Don stated, you end up with a court case and they release you, and you come back 4 or 5 years later, but nobody comes back. 2% come back. The not so smart ones come back. It's the most ridiculous system anyone has ever seen. Well, listener, there's a big problem with what was stated. The U.S. citizen isn't mentioned. Not part of Don's computer-generated dialogue. The listener, if they happen to be a U.S. citizen, is associating to the word you, and you is being used as a description for the group termed illegal migrant. Well, I'm going to assume there are some out there that are not agreed with the subliminal programming which is being placed to all the dialogue. They need to turn off, no longer associate with the abstract you. They're being programmed. Very soon, if they're a Yankee U.S. citizen, they're about to lose their nation, be ushered underground, or if not, quite possibly be paid for a history that isn't, reparations that shouldn't be, part of the U.S. territory. That'll be discussed further in the next upcoming clip. The issue of slavery, descendants of slaves. How many actually have enough blood line, DNA, tied to slaves that were held on the Yankee U.S. territory? Very few. It's a false history placed by the USDIA in an attempt to divide the U.S. territory. The underground system can be found everywhere underneath the U.S. territory. Look forward to accepting the new regulations. No longer being a U.S. citizen. (2 minutes, 1 second) statement. the analyst assessment. Word used, you, is done for the intention, leave the viewer programmed. You is inappropriate. Obvious is the computer generation. Don would need a psychiatry PhD in psychiatry. Obvious shares the tradecraft. Don the man doesn't speak. USDIA computer generation. Intelligence operators. Through the use of you, manipulates the population. Reader about to rise up? Ask selves why. Don every time, when is able, doesn't state illegal migrant, but rather states another time people, person. In the above case, you. Those who listen need to convert you to I in order to follow along. They need to imaginary place themselves part of you, which means them as I, me. That's what goes on in their subconscious. The viewer, the listener. They take the place of the migrant. Why wouldn't Don, who's supposedly a nationalist, be interested in protection, preservation of the image? Migrant without proper documentation is an illegal migrant. So why wouldn't he insist on repeating the same term, illegal migrant, undocumented migrant? Should be repeated often. Reminds also that the law was broken, penalty was paid. Person that is undocumented gets deported, is the one who broke U.S. law. Sent back towards origin country. In 1993, for all of those out there that aren't familiar with the Big Boss Jock and personal history, I am 49 years of age. 93 was in 93. And I do remember clearly how it was here in the north state of California, the town of Redding. There was a Bluebird bus, colored gray with white, separated. It was gray-white, excuse me. Color gray-white, I do remember. And it had blue lettering on the side. Separated still, placed near the door, covered were the windows. Side of the bus, letters read in colored dark blue print, U.S. Immigration Patrol. Any undocumented Hispanic illegal alien was put onto the secured bus. Every 2 days, bus made a trip, arrived at the port of entry, also serves as a port of exit, San Isidro Cross. The illegal migrant chained till the turnstile, uncuffed, let pass through, papers in hand, deported from the USA, walked across into the territory, country of Mexico, where some were subsequently apprehended, others were allowed to stay. Gave a try again on another day. 1993 operated the last bus. Action was intentional. In order to make for the situation, immigration problems experienced, soon to happen crisis, situation at curtain date. 2:01, 2 minutes and 1 second. Description is ignorant. Stereotypes presented. Tensions further fester. Problem which exists, lack of diplomacy. Statement is perceived, viewed as racism. Statement use of you instead of illegal migrant confuses the issue. Isn't clear who is you, nor are they given a name. Should be U.S. immigration judges. Not explained well enough are you. Exactly what goes on with the group. Why would they return in 4 or 5 years? Where did you go? Where did you arrive from? Doesn't make sense. We're in a way, viewer with personal biases needs to perceive the words. All listeners do due to the use of you. Form a perception in accordance to opinions. Entire while need to guess, add in what is missing. Statement should have been an illegal migrant. Recent arrival to the U.S. territory. Upon entrance, if apprehended, is given a court case. Allowed to leave. Exit detainment upon own recognizance. Maybe many choose not to remain in the territory, country of the USA. Instead, return to origin countries. Same illegal migrants, most wait 4 or 5 years. Again, re-enter into the U.S. territory. Only who are ignorant, 2%, are recaptured. Statement use of not smart signifies the U.S. Border Patrol, U.S. Border Security system is inept due to only the most ignorant are who get caught. Another slur to the U.S. government versed by the U.S. President. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Statement at dawn. And we have catch and release. And we have chain migration, where somebody comes in and brings a whole family. Bring them all year. Bring grandparents. You have brothers, your sisters, your cousins. Analyst assessment. Again, the statement, intention is to place opinionate racism. Statement should have been, U.S. immigration implements a policy termed catch and release. Due to the implementation of such a policy, the United States experiences something termed chain migration. That's where a migrant brings in the whole family, elderly to the babies, entire bloodline arrives. Ignorant is the statement, computer generated, placed to the U.S. President, made by Dawn. Though computer generated, not to be forgotten. Listeners out there, becoming aware of what's going on. Same techniques are used, reference to the words we as with you, also your. We should have been USA. You as if with yours should have been them as with theirs. Yankee population speaks same style of rubbish. Them as with theirs, yours should have been the illegal migrant. Yankee picks up the same way. Speaks in the with the same form of English. English rubbish. And by doing so, lowers their intellect. They're capable of much more, though they're inhibited by the computer-placed dialogue. They emulate what they hear, and in turn, program others by taking on the same way. That of the computer-generated dialogue. Listeners who are concerned out there, drop the use of the abstract you. Right off, stop with that. Don't phrase you know. That should not be phrased. I won't give orders. That's not the way. Make suggestions, and perhaps the people come to a conclusion. It's good advice. Give that a try. Our one only God, right here inside, He helps me do the rhyme. Line by line, I do give my thanks for our one only God. Big Boss Jock, momentarily signing off.